In this video, sponsored by the makers of Call of Dragons, we're going to check out all of the events that are going on right now. Because not only is there a new design for the Forge of Light, we've also got this Bookworm Bonanza. We've got a recharge event. So let's start with the Forge of Light. And as always, consider using the timestamps to jump to whichever part you want. Now, we've got this new weapon, the wolf-howl horn. I covered this in my video when I entered into the season, because this does look like a very powerful artifact. I called it a weapon because, I mean, it is what it is. But technically, it's an artifact. So this summons a cavalry charge in the designated direction, dealing damage to 3 enemy units and inflicting tremble, which is a new effect, cannot move, launch normal attacks, or rage skills. Differentiated, I guess, from a stun. It feels awfully similar. Regardless, does also big damage factor, and this is a cavalry item. Now, personally, I'm not on the cav plan. I'm an infantry player. That's my focus. So for me, I'm going for the infantry artifact this season. At the current rate that I'm going at, I'm maxing 1 artifact per generation of heroes, and my focus is infantry, so that's what I'm up to. But what's interesting is that there's not 2 artifacts here. There is a selection of all of these different artifacts. So we've got infantry and we've got cavalry items combined here. So this could be the new format that we see moving forward for the Forge of Light. Good news, bad news. I think the good news is that there is a much higher chance that there's something in this that you might want, okay? Bad news is you're probably not looking for some of the backwards things, like you probably already have your Spring Blades. You probably have your Dragon Armor. You might already have your Oath of the Storm Peak. But maybe you're going back and working on one of those. It is possible. And if we go look at the total probability set here, I don't know if your chances were better before or after. But what I will say is that perhaps if you wanted both the artifacts in the Forge of Light, which is pretty unlikely, maybe the old way was better, but I think generally speaking, being able to select what you want is probably just the better way to go. There's a 0.6% chance from pulls you get your desired item. From there, there's other things that show up, and like these other things, other than the Greymar's Warhammer, are not very impressive. So, yeah, I can't speak to the probabilities, but I can speak to the goodness of being able to at least select what you're going for. There is still pity after 2 other artifacts are drawn that are not your desired artifact. And as you can see, I have 895 keys. I am going to hold on to those keys, like I said, for whatever this generation's infantry artifact is, and I hope it's good. I do really kind of wish I had a maxed out Greymar's Warhammer. I'm not going to lie. That thing looks so sick. But there are many other events going on right now. One of them has a purchase reward associated with it. Now, when you go and make purchases, you get extra goodies. This is pretty straightforward. Those purchases give you raw gems, and raw gem count counts towards this. So if you get a pop-up bundle that has gem tokens, that will not count. But anything that has raw gems will count toward this. So for example, here we've got a bundle related to an event. We'll cover this in just a second. There is a epic currency and a rare currency, and also speed ups and resources. Now, personally, I think the way this bundle could be even more attractive would be if this was all pick 1 resources so that I could have it all be mana. That would be preferable. But I can go in and make these purchases, and I do use dragon tickets from the official Lilith store. I'll have a link in the description. You get a little bit of extra value when you buy your dragon tickets through the store, and then you can use them whenever you want. So I can buy the $5 bundle, I can buy this $10 bundle, and this goes up and up, but as you can see, my purchase rewards have also gone up. So if there were ever a time to spend in the game, it is when these purchase rewards are here. Of course, what is the purpose of that bundle I just bought? It is for this event right over here, the Bookworm Bonanza. So we've seen this format before with the primary and secondary currency. And what is most important here, in my opinion, if you need it, is the city theme. So here we have the Tree of Spirits city theme. I believe this gives 5% cavalry defense, and we have seen this before. 5% cavalry defense at the cost of magic unit defense. Typically, you are not using magic units and cavalry at the same time, so that seems like a fine trade-off for when you're doing that. I typically find myself running a lot of infantry, and so this is the city theme I am currently using. But I also think it's generally, if you're into, cosmetics, worth picking those up. They're very easy to get. But the more important item here is these legendary hero tokens. Like, this is really amazing. The legendary hero tokens are, I believe, not generation specific. So we can confirm that really quickly. If we make our way over to our items, we can scroll on down to the number of tokens I have. 617 that can apply to literally any season. All right. So let's go in. We buy that. And then we can go see. And it should be one higher. We were 617. We are 618. Right. So these are really good because you can basically save up or hoard for future generations and future hero launches. So I feel like that's really the sort of chase, is these legendary hero tokens. I probably want to try to max that out. Of course, gold keys are great. Artifact keys are great. Right now, I have almost all of my gold key heroes maxed except Emrys. So I might be at a point where I try to hoard my gold keys. It's kind of debatable. The Book of Retraining can reassign your hero's skill levels, which is pretty powerful if you want to try to gamble to get a better distribution. It is still a gamble, and for the most part, I wouldn't recommend it. And then the Book of Alteration resets hero talents. Obviously, those are very valuable. The Epic Artifact Choice Chest is pretty cool if you are a very low spender or free to play potentially, and you're using some epic artifacts, or you're in the early game. And of course, legendary medals are always in style. Now, you can go and get a bunch of the currency for these events for free. You've probably figured out that once Starklings are slain, they drop these chests. You can pick up the chest to get some goodies, but you can only do this a limited number of times per day. So you always want to go and do this, but there's only so much I'm expecting to get from this. And one of the final things we can get a look at is the quiz events. Here you can see I actually did pretty decent. 2 of the epics, 2 of the blues. Not bad. All right. So if we make our way back over here, there is the quiz event. You get 1 legendary hero token per day. And the answers typically can be looked up, for example, in a YouTube video. Although I don't typically put them in mine. A bunch of people go and they just do the quizzes and put the answers out there. And I think, hey, look, this is a quiz that I think it's okay to cheat on. Is that okay to say? Am I allowed to say that? We do also have the Festival of Fortitude here. So you're going to want to actually complete all these different quests. They are pretty straightforward. Regenerating a war pet may or may not be a thing that you're doing, but there's 5 different days worth of quests they'll unlock over the course of the event. And then you'll get, I think, looks like 1 extra day to just work on all the quests. And there is some pretty good stuff here along the way. Ancient bookmarks and commentary notes goes up to 10 of them, 10 of them, and then 10 of them. So, you don't have to complete all the way to the highest tier of this, but I certainly will try to. And do keep in mind, you get CP over here. This is pretty big if you're starting a new season. All right. Now that covers all of the big events that are currently here. Oh, look at this. Coming soon. Strongest Lord. The new Cav hero is not here. Is that an error? Or is that correct? Oh, that's wild. Wait a minute. The new Cav. Wait, what about the new Cav hero? Really? Huh. That is curious. I only just noticed I don't see the new. I hope the new Cav hero will be here. Do I need Magrat tokens if I were to push for that? I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, I could certainly benefit. I'm slowly working on my Magrat over time, doing that from the daily special offer. And by the way, I am in the Calling of Courage. This is a really fun new format, in my opinion, for seasons. I'm really enjoying it. I've been working on my policies, just a little season update here. I've got just really incredible healing capability. So if we go over here and look at the resource healing I can do, it's actually kind of disgusting. I mean, it's a lot of resource healing. So I have 24 million in resource heals. Chances are I will not do that much resource healing. Instead, we just let this elixir cook, baby. The free healing, overtime, recovering from the fight. By the way, for those of you wondering how our first fight went, we had a really good fight in this zone against Echo. I think they did very well, actually. And it reminds me that defensive positions are much easier to hold than assault. And choke points in this game are very powerful. And that's all a good thing, I think. It's a little bit much, but I've been on the defensive end and really enjoyed it. And I've been on the attacking side and suffered through it. So, is what it is. And we do have these siege bastions, which are really crazy. They will attack structures, but I guess not each other, it looks like. But they destroy flags, which is kind of wild. So these have been really kind of wacky to play with. They also create territory. And so we've got kind of like 2 choke points over here. It looks like you can kind of skirmish here whenever you need some merits. I probably need to port over and get a few merits, to be perfectly honest. I got a lot of merits from real fighting, but I probably just need to goof around and get some merits here. But these 2 choke points, they've got us held up. And I don't think we're pushing through them, quite frankly. We've tried, and it is what it is. So now we've got this zone entering, and I think this is a safe zone. So we enter into a safe zone here, Akura, and our allies will also enter into a safe zone. By the way, how did our allies do? Last I looked, they were chilling. Yeah, they're dude, our allies have actually been pushing. Good for them. So it's possible to push through the flat area. Our allies were pushed back to here. The flat is like, you can really operate in this space. But then once you get to the choke, it's kind of like GG. Bro, it's kind of like I'm talking about a brisket right now, the flat and the point, right? But the choke over here is insane. It's like so defensible. Look at all these keeps too. By the way, you may recognize NA. We fought against them in the past. So a lot of folks in another revenge season. GG. Oh my God. The number of times we've been betrayed is insane. But our allies actually like doing fantastic here. So it's going to be a really interesting Dragon Zone fight. I have to study the map and kind of see where the critical battles are going to take place or sort of predict it. But I think there's going to be a lot to enjoy in this season. So consider subscribing. I did actually stream a bunch of fighting like at this choke the other day. So if you want to check that out, it was actually a Rise of Kingdoms stream that I was planning to do, but then there just kept being so much fighting that I joined into the fighting. So if you want to see some fighting right here, spoiler alert, how the territory ends up. All the card in the end screen right over here. If you have any other tips or tricks about the events that are here now, definitely leave a comment with that. I am still loving Call of Dragons, and I am hyped for what comes next in this season. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.